got to make we're at home. You got to make sure that Rasheed Walker feels really comfortable with what he's doing. It's kind of as a side note. You're playing against a guy like this. Danielle Hunter's really good. You have to be confident in what you're doing. You have to be confident in the snap count. You have to be confident. You have to be able to look at your player the whole time. Like, take advantage of being at home, right? And just get yourself when you're when he gets back and gets in a good set and a good body position, he wins every rep, right? It's just those reps where he's late, where he feels like he has to overcompensate, where he turns early. Those are the reps, and it's the same for everybody. That's where they get in trouble. Minnesota Vikings, I think, are 31st in the league in rushing attempts per game, and they have, or maybe 31st or 32nd, and they have 0 rushing touchdowns. Keep this game one-dimensional. Keep it one-dimensional. Do not let Madison or Cam Akers start breaking out these. This is the first play of the game. Gets 20 yards. Now, Quay Walker, McDuffie does this already. This is clinic tape this is how Fred Warner attacks a fullback. This is old school. Right? Confrontation on their side of the line of scrimmage makes this play go nowhere because Akers has to make a cut too early. Backside play. I think this is Hargrave. What a pickup for them. Hargrave comes over and makes this play. But really, the way that Fred Warner attacks this on their side of the line of scrimmage shuts this play down before it starts. When you're running against a fullback, which the Vikings will feature, you got to play on their side of the line of scrimmage. Kirk Cousins is a standing target. I think that's the first thing you think of when you look at this offense. But he doesn't get sacked as much as you would think. And to his credit, because I've never really given him a lot of credit, but to his credit, he'll stand in there and he'll take some punishment and he delivers the ball. At least in this game, he delivered the ball really well. You see, that's their stud left tackle, Christian Darrisaw, got beat early in the game, didn't get beat again. He's been playing at a high level. That'll be a good matchup between him and Preston. I would imagine that Rashawn Gary stays over O'Neal, who had a really good game against Bosa. O'Neal's a guy that surprised me, quite frankly, the right tackle. He looked really good last week. I didn't think he played at a high level last year, but this year, at least last week, I haven't watched too much tape on these guys, but last week he looked really good. But you see again, Bosa comes in, smacks him right in the gut, still delivers a throw. They go under center. And just is able to process from the flat back to the second look. And it's happening like this. Like someone's in his face immediately, and he's just processing really fast right now. And this route takes time, right? You've got a shallow cross, cut back, and you got to sit in there in the pocket and deliver this ball in a critical moment. Double covered. Player has leverage, but Kirk Cousins is just doing a good job of waiting until the last minute, delivering the ball when he has to. We talked about Justin Jefferson not being available. This is one of those situations where you're never going to say they're a better team without him. But maybe you say that Kirk Cousins is playing at a faster processing level because he doesn't have Justin Jefferson to look for. Because we saw that, obviously being a problem last time the Packers played him at home last season when we shut Jefferson down. They really struggled. Hawkinson, Jordan Addison coming out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere, first-round draft pick from SC, but just kind of waiting in the wings until he had his opportunity. But these guys played at an incredible level. I see Hawkinson comes down here, and they just run a really simple, and I think we're going to see a ton of this. They're going to run 2 goes here. They're going to chip out on Bosa, which, Rashawn Gary has earned the right to get chipped. So you chip out, you stay in 5-man protection. You get your back released into the top side. So you got a 1-on-1 up top. But then because of the depth of the linebackers, Hawkinson's able to just sneak into the middle here, first down. Under center play action. Hawkinson is wide open in the middle. They've got three guys, excuse me, they got two guys who post up and hold those linebackers in. So the route combinations, like Kevin O'Connell's really good at play design, man. Kevin O'Connell's really good. But here's the thing. Most teams aren't throwing this ball. Okay, you got all this space. Kirk Cousins is throwing this ball. Like in the 80s, you're not throwing this ball because TJ Hawkinson is not playing another snap in 2023, right? Because he's going to get absolutely warhammered right in the face by that defensive back if you throw this ball with this kind of timing, leading him into a clean hit. You can't hit him like that anymore. So he ends up making this play, little tackle there. He's fine. Both sides did this all the time with their tight ends. They're kind of throwing him into danger. Just a different time. And sometimes when I watch this, I cringe, and then you realize, you really can't hit him that hard. Screen game could feature big time. We haven't done a great job of showing that we're able to stop the screen game. I think the screen game offensively for us is something that we need to, probably look into featuring a little bit more, to put some time into it. We made a huge mistake on a screen last week, but I digress. This is Hawkinson again. You're getting a really good player involved. Guy's a really good player. Up top, you see he's got leverage on Greenlaw, and they just run a quick out. And the thing about Kirk Cousins is, like, he sees that pre-snap and he's just making that throw. Now, Jordan Love's shown the ability to do this as well. And this is one of those games where you kind of sit around and you go, Kirk Cousins, this is where Kirk Cousins, where you may or may not like him, you may or may not think he's a winner, all of these things. He's certainly a great businessman. His team seems to like him. And the difference between, the Packers and the Vikings right now at the quarterback position is, one, I think from a play calling standpoint, they probably understand each other better. I'm talking about O'Connell and Kirk Cousins. But the other thing too, obviously, is like you might say Jordan Love has more talent or raw ability, but processing speed, knowing where to go with the football, sitting in the pocket, eyes downfield. This is what a quarterback who puts up big numbers looks like. Takes what he can get against a really good team. Yeah, 3-by-1. They throw another screen, this time to Akers. And this is what I'm talking about. You bring in Cam Akers from the Rams, comes off that knee injury, and it just looks like maybe he's starting to get rolling. They bring up everybody. He stands in the pocket and just delivers on this. This was a zero blitz on a 3rd and 16 or a 3rd and long with 16 seconds left. And, Jordan Addison has coming out party here. Welcome to the world, man. Under center play action. And you just see the space. This is one of the few times that both of the linebackers respected the run game. And maybe it's because they're in man. And so they're just going to press up, and this is how they want to play. But you did get a ton of space here on the backside, and they run a ton of the Minnesota Vikings. And this is a problem for Green Bay historically. The Minnesota Vikings will run either out of a trip side or a double formation. They will run inside high and then run outside underneath. And this is how they beat us just desperately in the first game of last season. I love this guard pull misdirection play that they used instead of under center play action, just to get the quick screen. Gets everybody going the wrong direction. Got a little bunch look outside here. They run the ball. I'm just showing Akers here from an explosion standpoint. They run it weak. Simple zone game. This is a really well-coached play. The offensive line coach was a Pro Bowl player for the Denver Broncos. I worked with him in Miami. Really smart guy, and you just see this. They're not obviously good at running, but this is kind of you want to see your players be able to do. This is a very well coached design. This is a very standard design play, picked up extremely well by the left guard. The left guard is going to double here and then notices that we've got a rocking nose tackle. So he goes 1-2, sees it, blocks it. Center's able to just get enough for Fred Warner. Fred Warner misses one of the few tackles he misses. It's an arm tackle, albeit. But it's little things like this that make big difference in games. They've coached this, and this is kind of what we talk about. When I was playing with Green Bay, we wouldn't even in practice, like we wouldn't even work on kind of the standard three, like their 4-3 defense. We would work on all the adjustments because the 4-3, we had already worked that for, thousands of reps of just how to, single block somebody, how to double block somebody. So you're always working on, okay, well, what are the tips and tells if they're going to, if they're going to rock the nose tackle? What do we do if they do rock the nose tackle? How are your footwork? So the left guard's footwork is so good here. 1-2. And then immediately, because he's setting that bumper high, like we talked about with Elgton Jenkins last week, he immediately slams back on the nose tackle and just clears away. And the center doesn't do a great job here, but does enough to just get a hand and get in front of Warner. And all of a sudden they have an explosive running play. And that's literally like the difference between good lines and good running games and mediocre or poor running games is that. Can you have that person make the adjustment in the moment? Game plan, and this isn't a big deal. A lot of teams do this, but so they decided because of all of the split flow that they'll run, that'll turn into a tight end drag or an arrow route out the backside. So they're running like a keep pass. They're going to stay man on Hawkinson here with 31. So he follows, and they just design a play where they're going to keep this thing play side, run out the front, just understand where the leverage problems are in that defense. Again, I think I'm just showing this not because this is a really nuanced play, but it showed when I watched this game, it showed me against a really good defense that Kevin O'Connell's a really good play caller. Like their play design is pretty high level. You got trips up top. And so they know, we talk about, game planning, talk about well coach. They know when they go trips up top and they're zoned up like this, that they're not going to press that top guy. That's important. We saw what happened last week when Rasul Douglas thought that we were going to press the top guy, and he got bulldozed, and then Rasul Douglas got picked for the touchdown. Okay, so the Niners are going to be on the same page here. We know that. But the Vikings know how they're going to play this bunch look when they motion in, and they just run a flood route on the backside out of a bunch. So they run a bunch left, flood right, and hit Addison for the touchdown. Big time play design. Now they start in bunch, go motion out. So they just have a trips look. The middle man who was pressed up is now no longer the middle man. And all they're going to run is the up and under on the two outside players that we just showed. This is the same concept that they went on against us, that they went on against a lot of people. A lot of teams run this. It's just the way they're dressing everything up. And they're giving Cousins Hawkinson first, right across the middle. If he's not there, Addison late. Basically just shadow routing him, just trailing him on a 5-yard smash. Easy. These are explosive plays against a really good team.